Welcome to the farm, everyone. Today we answer an important question. Why invest? I go by the name ShareCropper, but you can call me Sherry for short. I like to sow the seeds of investment and watch my ego and my crops grow patiently over time. But I wasn't always this way. What happened? What changed? What information did I receive that made me take a different path? That's what I'm going to share with you guys today. And maybe you too will become a cropper or a farmer. Maybe you're not an investor. Maybe you don't think investing is suited for you. You're uneducated. You're old. You're fat. You're broke. Well, even if you are, doesn't that kind of sound like you're a farmer already? See, people that don't invest, it's not because they're broke. It's not because they're too old or too young or not competent enough. People that don't invest because they don't understand the reason for investing. They think investing is gambling, or they think that investing is something that you do when you have so much money that you just can't find anything else to spend it on. Or you come into a bunch of money and you decide, you know what, this is going to be perfect for me 70, 80 years later, and I'll probably die before I even get it. But that's just not true. That's not the case. See, what people don't understand is that cash is actually the enemy. Cash is bad. What? Cash is bad? Cash is bad. How can this be? A caveman, let's call him Prehistoric Patrick, asks. And it's because of inflation. That's right. Inflation is the reason why cash in the future is worth less than cash in the present. So as you can see here, the value of the dollar actually goes down over time. And we can look at some historical numbers just to see exactly what I'm talking about. So it's not to say that if you had, $10,000 and you shoved it under a mattress in 2014, it's not to say that in 2024 that you wouldn't still have that same $10,000. You will. You'll have the same amount, but the power of that $10,000 will be diminished. You've probably heard of the Federal Reserve printing money. Well, there's a reason why we can't just print thousands and thousands and millions of dollars and just give it out to everyone to make everyone richer, right? Because the more money that we have, when you increase the supply, the less power each individual dollar has. So you may have $10,000 in 2024, but it's not worth the same that it was in 2014. It doesn't have the same power, the same purchasing power. And if you go back 10 years, it looks even worse. If we were to save $10,000 from, let's say, 2004, then by 2024, you would need almost $17,000 in order to have that same power of that $10,000. But of course, you don't have $17,000. You still just have the $10,000 that you put under the mattress that now feels like it's worth a lot less. It has a lot less power. And we all know examples of this. You know, you've heard, a Coca-Cola used to be 5 cents back in my day. You've heard that before. Well, it's not just because companies used to be a lot more generous and that they've just raised prices, and that's the whole reason why things just aren't like what they used to be. The reason, or one of the main reasons, is because of inflation. So we know that over time, our money loses power. It becomes worth less every year that goes by. Now, typically inflation is around 2%. We'll get into this topic much more later, but there are years where it is much more than 2%. 2% is the target goal of the Federal Reserve, but sometimes it's a lot more. It could be 8%. It could be 15%. And then your money really, really loses power. So just shoving money up under a mattress is not safe. And holding cash and not investing is a decision. and it's one that you should know the consequences for. And if you're not convinced enough already, let's look at another example. 1963, okay? This is quite some time here, right? But look at how much power your cash loses over this time. And you know what? Just let's take it to the extreme. One more here. Let's go as far back as it'll let me to 1913. Do I need to say any more? Okay, so most people are convinced at this point, but prehistoric Patrick he's a little slow, so we just need to drive home this point one more time for him. So I'm going to read something from the famous investor Warren Buffett, just to really beat a dead horse here. He says, "Today people who hold cash equivalents feel comfortable. They shouldn't. They have opted for a terrible long-term asset, one that pays virtually nothing and is certain to depreciate in value." Wow. Now, we don't know what all those words are yet, but he's basically saying what I've been describing throughout this video, that cash is the enemy. So where do we go? Where do we turn? What do we do? Someone save us. And that's what I'm here for. So in this episode, we learned why cash is bad, but in the next episode, we'll need to learn why cash is good. Aha, that was a trap. That was a trick. If you believe that even for a second, you need to rewatch the whole video. Okay, but seriously, on the next video, we're going to learn what we can do to fight inflation. Because keeping cash in the bank is almost as bad as keeping it under the mattress. But what about a high-yield savings account? What about it? What about it? We're going to go over that in the next video. And before the next video, I'm going to recommend throughout the series a few different videos or books or articles that will kind of give some supplemental information, or for those that want to dive a little bit deeper and get a little bit more information on the topic. I'm going to recommend different things. So for this next episode, I'm going to recommend The Psychology of Money. It's very easy to read or to listen to through an audiobook, and it's a great first book into maybe not as much investing, but just kind of the ideas that we'll cover in the first couple episodes. It's a great starting place. So with that, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you again on the next one. Thanks.